have a look at two cheese counters to demonstrate the limited space retailers have to accommodate all the products in their range. Firstly, we visited Sheridan's in Dunstores in the Swan Centre in Rathmines, a really busy suburb of Dublin. 14 of Sheridan's 17 outlets nationwide are in Dunstores grocery departments. A really innovative partnership. It has brought farmhouse cheese to a wider audience, where cheesemongers can have great conversations with shoppers about the story of the beautiful food on offer. This has proven really successful, especially for Irish cheese producers. You can see there is limited space for the range of products in this gorgeous display. Once the European cheese customers expect to see, such as Comté, Brie, Stilton, Roquefort and Gouda, and the iconic Irish cheeses St. Tola, Killeen, Cashel, Durris, Gubeen, etc., are put into the display, there's very little space left for others. Full wheels of cheese take up a lot of space. Then you add in pre-cuts, pre-packs, miniatures and cheese accompaniments such as crackers and chutneys. There really isn't a lot of room for additional products. To accommodate a new cheese, another may have to be delisted. So you need to be aware that a cheese needs to differentiate itself sufficiently from the competition to earn that place in the limited space available. This is Caveston's in Glasstool, an Aladdin's cave of beautiful food. I didn't want to leave. People come from miles around to shop here. Caveston started out as a fishmongers in the 1940s. Local producers and growers began to bring their food to be sold. The business has grown and grown to include a successful export business. It's now run by the third generation Mark Caveston, who's kindly agreed to have a chat with us.
Mark, thank you very much for showcasing your cheese to us and giving us your time today.
Taste is everything. So number one, we like to taste the product and make sure that we love it. Yeah. So if we love it, it's easy to sell then. Yes. And if we love it, then we could sell it to our customers. We can even, in the past, before COVID, we would have given a little taste, and that is the way of selling the cheese. At the moment, it's a bit limited, but usually customers will try by buying a little bit and bring it home, and then a repeat purchase. So initially, with the cheesemonger, we might buy a wheel, see how it goes. All going well, you know, you could be up to a couple of wheels a week, depending on the cheese, you know.
And if a cheesemonger wanted to contact you or
pick up the phone or call in from me, you know, because face-to-face or a phone call is nice. Sometimes you get an email, and sure, you could have 30 emails in an hour, let alone a day. So you get lost, an email would be lost, you know. So it is nice to meet the person. A cheese maker gives us a description that will be a simple description that will sell the cheese to the customer. I suppose there's many different types of customers, you know. A lot of our customers are used to coming in and they can see our counter growing, or little new cheeses, they might recognize it, you know. And there's quite an awareness, like this favorites, like old favorites, Gubeen, everybody knows that, Cashel Blue. Yeah, they've been around a while, so they've got their name out there and they're a firm favorite. Other companies like Mossfields, you know, that's because we loved it, has built to have a strong following. You know.
And what role then does the relationship between you and the cheesemaker, what enhances the relationship, and how does that affect the sales?
Really, communication. And it is lovely when they can come up and do a tasting. Again, with the COVID, it's not so possible at the moment. Now, maybe things are changing all the time. So, we always looked forward to a cheesemaker coming up, visiting, getting to meet the customers. The final customer ultimately is really important, because people love to meet the maker. Like Sean from Cratloe Hills, he usually makes an annual pilgrimage to us. And should the customers go wild, they love to meet him. You know.
You mentioned communication with cheesemakers between you and the cheesemaker is very important. What do you want to hear from them?
Okay, so sometimes there might be a shortage of milk. So it's good to know, okay, coming up, we may have a slight shortage. So you can plan for that, or you can let your customers know. Because sometimes if you don't have the cheese, customers may ask why. and it's good to give them the right explanation. You know, people appreciate that. You know, it might be lambing or not lambing, you know, it might be calving season or something like that. You know.
So a proactive communication to tell you in advance if there's good news or
exactly.
or
Or there's particularly good, say it could be summer meadow milk or something like that. You know. And it's a little particularly sweet milk. It could make a difference to the flavour profile of the cheese, which in turn sells the cheese, you know. I think the last time we came, we had over 100 cheeses. You know, that's international and Irish, you know.
Yeah.
Probably selling more and more Irish though, you know.
Great.
Yeah.
And why do you think that is?
There's more producers out there. And I suppose, well, customers are dining out, and especially this year, they're travelling around the country a lot. So they may be eating a cheese in, say they're in Galway on their holidays. They might even say to us, "Oh, I had a lovely cheese. Can you get it in?" Which is another way of finding new cheeses for us, you know. Okay. So if we find something that we like when we're in a restaurant, it's always great to try and bring it in here as well, you know.
What would be the top tips you'd give somebody who's a cheesemaker who's setting out, you know, in terms of getting their product to market?
Well, it's getting in contact with those who you want to sell. And you could ask, if you're only at the very early stages of production, what type of cheese are you looking for? Maybe because there might be some areas that we may be a bit weak in or stronger in, like, you know, that you could go down an alley that is a little bit alternative or something that isn't covered yet. Like, say for instance, you got the Galway goat's cheese pyramid. It's a great replacement for the Valenci pyramid.
So really then it's a good idea if the maker even takes your advice on where there's a gap in the market.
Yeah, exactly, you know.
Great.
Now, it's probably not, maybe at some stages it's hard to know who to ask, but get the feelers out there and find out, you know. Really just keep at it, you know, because it's probably good things take a bit of time to build up, you know, and sometimes you might have a few knockbacks along the way, and so really it's just pushing and getting the name out there. I say, like, as I mentioned earlier, just face to face, coming out here, bringing a little sample to us, have a taste, you know, and say, is there anyone else here? Like, we have a chef here, see if there's anything that he can do with it as well to incorporate it into dishes, you know.
Thank you very
No
much
problem
indeed,
at all.
Mark.
Thanks, Nick.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Lovely to
Bye-bye.
meet you.
These two examples of cheese counters illustrate that space for a new cheese is at a premium and is not easy to obtain. So how can you improve your chances? Research the market. Find out what customers are looking for. What are your competitors in your segment doing, whether it's hard, soft, semi-soft or blue? Goat, sheep, cow, buffalo milk. What are your competitors charging? Research your pricing down to the minute detail. Is there a gap in the market for a new brie or a blue or other style of cheese? What is your unique selling point? It can't be just that your cheese is made on your farm with your own milk. As beautiful a cheese as it might be, with the hard work, love and care you've invested in it, it has to have a new angle. What are the trends in the cheese market, especially post-COVID? Keep in touch with the counter once your product is listed and grow that relationship. A cheesemonger will sell more of a cheese they have a connection with. Before you pitch to a buyer, you need to research. Your cheese needs to earn its place on the counter. With good preparation and groundwork, you'll give yourself the best chance of getting your cheese into that space in the cheese counter.